Pull up to the block and you can shot. Better watch out, cause the cops hot. We shoot a shot if we see the eye. You can't ball if you ain't got no hustle. I keep my grind on, fuck the struggle.
What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak your mind, sports talk. Check it out, guys. We rolling again. We rolling. So, Jon Jones is washed up. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. All right, so here's the thing, guys. Kind of a catchy title. Of course, you know, I did that intentionally, but I just wanted to talk about the whole Jon Jones situation and what's going on. First and foremost, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Jon Jones made a couple of comments about going over to WWE. He said that it was always a dream of his to be a professional wrestler. And when I say wrestler, I mean show wrestler, WWE. He's been a fan of the WWE. He says he has a lot of respect for those guys and what they're doing. Trav D in the building. So are you a Jon Jones fan? Yeah, I am, Trav D. It's just a catchy title, my man. That's all. I'll explain. I will explain. But so, you know, back to it, guys. Jon Jones has been talking about, you know, potentially transitioning over to the WWE after, you know, he's done with his UFC career. Now, you know, with him making some of those statements, and his past two fights were not the dominant Jon Jones that people are used to seeing. There's a lot of speculation about Jon Jones. Is he coming toward the end? Is he, you know, I've even heard some people say that he's not as good as people thought he was because he's not using PEDs and so forth and so on. The thing is this, man. The level of competition is just getting better, and that's all it is. For a long time, UFC fans, MMA fans such as myself, when you watch the UFC from the beginning, you know, when they first started, and you see the guys now, when you look at the overall talent, and I mean, in every division, all of these fighters, the women fighters, the men fighters, just the level of talent in general for all of the fighters has increased substantially. The fighters of MMA in this day and era are much, much better than they were in the past. There were fighters that were, you know, a cut above the rest in the past. Now everyone's catching up. You know, they're studying this craft. They're, you know, implementing different disciplines into their own skill sets. And there are no easy fights anymore, guys. You know, back in the past, even you can go just like when Jon Jones started, a lot of these guys were a cut above the rest. You know, they were just at that next level and these other guys weren't. Now everybody's excelling in this sport and they're doing what it takes to get to that next level, to be a well-rounded fighter, the wrestling, the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, the striking. They're not, you know, back in the day with mixed martial arts, most guys were concentrated on one or two disciplines. Now guys are implementing 3, 4, and 5 disciplines into what they already know. So, you know, that's what's going on with Jon Jones and a lot of other fighters that were once dominant that are, you know, getting into these fights. I mean, look what happened to Conor McGregor with Khabib. You know what I mean? These guys are just getting better. And it's an overall talent thing. Samuel Shaw in the building. What's good with you? Boca Burger Slim. Where's the 1,000 sub live? Oh, I'm gonna do a celebration, my man. No doubt. I am just really trying to get back to my videos, getting the videos out there to the fans, and I just wanted to do this quick live on Jon Jones, but we're going to get that in, man. My man Angel Santos in the building. Yo, D and the UGC. Salute, no doubt. Appreciate you, Angel. Samuel, Trav D. So, you know, back to it, guys. Jon Jones struggling in his past 2 fights. You know, you can look at that as Jon Jones declining, or I don't think so. What I think is that the overall competition is getting better. Look at Israel Adesanya. You know, he's like another Jon Jones. And it was a time when we thought that we wouldn't even see another Jon Jones. We wouldn't see a guy as talented. And, well, you have Adesanya popping up. You know, he's a well-rounded fighter. That's what made Jon Jones so dominant, how well-rounded he was. And the fighters around him didn't have the multitude of skills. They didn't have, you know, Jon Jones is an excellent wrestler. He was an excellent collegiate wrestler. So, you know, a lot of fans don't take these things into account, that the competition around these champions are just getting better. It's just that simple. I titled this thing Jon Bones Jones Washed Up. To dig into that a little more, this comment actually came from the guy that I just mentioned, Israel Adesanya. See, and so there's no secret that Adesanya wants Jon Jones. He wants that fight, you know. And again, with Jon Jones talking this whole WWE thing, and you know, Vince McMahon is doing a good job at taking prime sports figures and bringing them over to the WWE. Ronda Rousey, it happened. You know, Tyson Fury went over there and messed around with it. Now you got Jon Jones heading toward this type of stuff. And, you know, this is like a second career almost for a lot of athletes coming out of football, combat sports, you know, a second career moving over into wrestling if they build their name and they have a fan base that they can bring over. And so, you know, Adesanya, who's been avidly talking about fighting Jon Jones, with him struggling in his past 2 fights, this gives him ammunition. It gives him ammunition to talk about it. And it is Jon Jones, I mean, it's Adesanya that said that Jon Jones is washed up. And this is why I decided to title it this. He says, I've seen him. I've seen what I needed to see. This is what Adesanya said about Jon Jones. You know, and then he goes on to say, he's washed up. He's done. His best years are behind him. He's still great, but he's washed up now. And then, you know, he was talking about the Reyes fight, and Adesanya said he wasn't doing shit. He was winning the rounds, but he wasn't really doing shit. He was trying, but there's levels to this. And it's just so funny to hear someone like Adesanya say something like that. Yeah, it is levels to this. And currently right now, Jon Jones is at the top level. Jon Jones not only won that fight, he won it unanimously concerning the judges, but he also set a 14-fight streak, you know, record in winning this fight. Take him out. Beat him. Jon Jones has never been beaten in the UFC. His loss on his record was a disqualification. He fought Matt Hummel and hit him while he was, I think he kicked him or hit him. He kicked him when he wasn't supposed to, basically. And is how Jon Jones lost this fight. Disqualification. No one has beaten Jon Jones. So you cannot take somebody like Jon Jones in the UFC. No one is beaten talking about he's washed up, he's done this, that, and the third. Then, you know, I like Israel Adesanya. You know, no lie, but Adesanya, slow your roll, bro. You're a middleweight. You're not a light heavyweight. You're a middleweight. And I know that you think you got the goods, but there, you say that there's levels to this. Well, there's also weight classes for a reason, my man. And you got a couple more to go up. You know, there have been heavyweights that have come down to light heavyweight and been demolished by Jon Jones. So Israel Adesanya, I believe he has the tools. Like, he'll give Jon Jones problems, but he better come to that party with his best shit on, because you're talking about the GOAT right now. You're talking about the GOAT, in my opinion. You know, Jon Jones getting the gift, Trav D, I don't think so. I don't think he got a gift. I think that was a close fight. I will say, if they had awarded Reyes split majority decision, I'm not, you know, I wouldn't call it a robbery. I will say that about the fight. I would not call that fight a robbery had they awarded Dominic Reyes the win by split or majority decision. But to say that it was a robbery for Jon Jones to win, absolutely not. Dominic Reyes won the first 2 rounds. I'll give him that. Jon Jones took over 4 and 5. The 3rd round was a round that, you know, you could argue. And that's how I saw that fight. But I'm not going to say that it was a robbery. I don't think that it was a robbery at all. That fight could have been awarded to either guy. And is Jon Jones washed up? Absolutely not. You know, absolutely not. All of the guys, including Adesanya, that think he's washed up, get into the ring with him. You know, Israel Adesanya made another comment in the interview that he had when he was talking about Jon Jones was washed up, and he was talking about his fight versus Kelvin Gastelum in UFC 236. And, you know, he made the statement. He said, look at Jon Jones's 5th round against Dominic Reyes, and look at my 5th round against Gastelum. And so his point was that he turned it up the 5th round. It was a close fight between he and Gastelum, and Adesanya turned it up the 5th round. He dropped Gastelum. He did what it takes to convincingly win that fight. And basically what he's saying is that Jon Jones didn't. Well, I would go back to Israel Adesanya and say, Adesanya, Kelvin Gastelum is not Dominic Reyes. And Dominic Reyes, in my opinion, would beat the hell out of Kelvin Gastelum. And so that has to be thought about. So you can compare what happened with you and Kelvin Gastelum, which it was a good fight between Adesanya and Kelvin Gastelum. And you can compare that with Jon Jones versus Dominic Reyes, but you weren't in the ring with a Dominic Reyes. That's a much tougher opponent. And it's a lightweight. You was fighting a middleweight fight. So, you know, guys, I think he's throwing fuel on that fire, because Jon Jones doesn't take a lot of mouth from anyone. We all know this about Jon Jones. So if he keeps poking that bear, maybe he'll wake him up and earn him a fight. You know, if he keeps poking that bear and build this rivalry, he wouldn't even have to earn a fight with Jon Jones. Dana White will set it up. Jon Jones is not going to duck the smoke. So Israel Adesanya is doing what he can to get that fight. But, guys, anyway, I just wanted to kind of put that out there about this Jon Jones situation and what's going on after the Dominic Reyes fight. You know, no way do I think that Jon Jones is washed up, and no way, Trav D, do I think that it was a robbery. It was a very good fight, very close fight. And Jon Jones, at least by the judges' scorecards, pulled out the win. 14 wins straight. He's in the record book, and he's currently the only fighter in the UFC that, you know, has not been beaten. No, well, let me say the only champion. So there's some fighters with zeros on their record, but, you know, he's the only champion. So, Trav D, appreciate you coming through, fam. Samuel Shaw, my man Angel Santos, Apollo Spade, I see you in there, brother. Appreciate you coming through. Boxing Monster, say Thanos, what's up, Boxing Monster? The Boss, El Jefe, I see you, dog. Appreciate you coming through. So you guys, Iron Cone, I see you, bro. I ain't gonna miss you. Marlon Machine, what's good? What's good? So I just want to do a quick live, guys. Another quick live. I am gonna do 1,000 subscribers appreciation and celebration, guys. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not gonna do it today. Maybe this weekend or maybe even tomorrow. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely gonna do that. Y'all know we're gonna get our boxing lives and gotta do that. But you guys know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.
Hey Pablo, light it up.
I had to buy the Porsche now, yeah.